Stop sleeping with married men. Scary story time. And y'all, sit down and strap in. This is another one of my dad's stories, and it gets real. By now, y'all should know a lot of crazy things have happened to my dad. But y'all should also know that a lot of those crazy things happened to him because he was born with a gift. When he was born with this thing called coif. That is, when you're born and your umbilical cord was wrapped around your neck. And it is believed that anybody that's born like that is born with a gift. So when my grandma gave birth to him, she knew, and she told him that his entire life. But he always took it with a grain of salt. Like, he heard her say it all the time, but it was just like, It wasn't until this happened to him that he actually believed. Even though he had situations where he would see things that other people couldn't see, he would hear things where other people couldn't see. It took this story to convince him. Anyways, he had this girlfriend at the time, right? And he would go to her house all the time on a schedule. He would go from 6 p.m. and leave around like maybe 9:30, 10. But mind y'all, by that time, he's grown. Like, he's in his 20s. And he was always over there just to, hang out with his girl. And one day he goes to his girl's house as usual. They're hanging out. The house his girlfriend lived at was a two-story family home. She lived upstairs, and the upstairs part had a balcony. And they would sit there and hang out. Now, right next to that house, there is an abandoned house. It was so abandoned that the grass grew so tall. Like, it was really tall. Almost as tall as him. So you can imagine how tall the grass was. So anyways, one night they're sitting there hanging out. And my dad says as he's sitting there, he starts to feel uncomfortable. He's not sure why he's feeling uncomfortable, but he just, something feels wrong. Something just is not right. And he starts to fidget in his chair because his intuition is telling him something is wrong. And his girl asks him, are you okay? He's like, no, something's wrong. Now, mind you, the next door house that I told you about, it was mostly land. There was a house there, but it was mostly land. And it was a really huge land. So the grass was a lot. Imagine cornfield. And so as he's sitting there, he starts to hear the grass moving, like something is moving through the grass. And he tells his girl, do you hear that? And his girl's like, hear what? Do you hear the grass? There's something, I hear something moving through it. And his girlfriend's like, no, I don't hear anything. And as he's asking his girl, does she hear it? It's getting louder and louder. So he gets up from his chair to overlook the land to see what's going on, what's making all that noise. And as he's standing there on the balcony and he's overlooking the land, he sees something moving through the grass. The grass is moving as if something is running through it. And he tells his girl, look, I knew there was something wrong. Look, do you see that? And she gets up and she looks. She's like, I don't see anything. And he's like, what do you mean you don't see anything? There's something in the thing and it's moving. The grass is moving all over the place. There's something running through it. And at this point, his girl starts getting scared because she does not see anything. And my dad starts to get a little frustrated because now he thinks that she's playing a joke on him. Because you can clearly see the grass, there's something running through the grass. And she keeps saying she don't see it. How can you not see that? And at this point, he's asking her and he's getting frustrated and he can see the fear in her eyes because she honestly does not see anything. And he's like, you know what? I don't got to deal with this tonight. I'm going home. And his girl's like, no, you don't have to go. Don't leave. Let's just go inside. Forget all of this. Let's just go inside and we'll just relax and forget about it. Of course, that didn't happen, but he agreed. They go inside, they sit, and they start to talk about it. And at this point, he's getting kind of mad because he's like, why are you taking me as a joke? Just tell me you saw the thing. And she's telling him, I swear to you, I did not see or hear anything. And as they're talking about it, there is this loud scream downstairs. And the person that screams is going off. Not like normal cursing going off. Of course, they're cursing, but it's screaming at the top of their lungs, running through the place. You can hear the person run outside and is screaming. And at this point, you can hear other people start to gather around. And my dad's girlfriend is terrified because of what just happened. And now this is going on. And my dad looks at her like, shush, don't say anything. That is none of our business. Until one of the girls that lives downstairs runs up the stairs, comes to their door and starts knocking. She's knocking and knocking. She's like, please, we need help. We need help. Can somebody please help us?
I think I've met 2 psychopaths in my life, and unfortunately, one of them is actually probably married to my friend. And I don't mean psycho as in oh, he's crazy, he's violent. I mean you probably have bitches chopped up in your basement. Would not shock me at all. I met him when I was living on the East Coast for a year. I did not like him the moment I met him. Hairs on the back of my neck, standing up, creepy weird. I really didn't like him. When I found out some stories about him. Basically, my friends were friends with his girlfriend, and she went to a different school, but she would tell them that they had this like sexual fantasy that they would play out where she would hide somewhere in her house and he would act like an intruder. She would turn off all of her lights. He would act like an intruder and drag her out of her hiding place, and she would be like kicking and screaming. This man had like defensive wounds on his body, like scratches and shit. And I'm asking my friends, I'm like, is this consensual? Like, are we sure that this is consensual, just knowing the nature of him and how he's like manipulative and a liar? And they're like, well, she said it is. And I'm like, well, did you like really ask her? Like, are we like making her feel comfortable? That wasn't really their MO. And so I never knew about what happened there. They end up breaking up. Worst case scenario, he ends up really wanting to go after one of my friends, who is like the most innocent human on the entire planet. Mind you, this is her freshman year of college. She has not drank. She's not had her first kiss. She has not had sex, okay? She's religious. She doesn't want to do any of these things because she feels guilty, right? She still believes in this religion. And so he's pressuring her to have sex. And I'm like, dude, stop doing that. I literally tell him, I'm like, you know she doesn't want to do that. If you actually care about her, you'll respect her wishes and you'll stop trying to make her. And he's like, she's a big girl. She can decide. I'm like, you're right. She is a big girl and she can decide, but you're coercing her. It's different. And he was like, I don't care. I'm like, oh my fucking God. But this man is also like serially cheating on her, right? Like we hear stories and stuff, but like never have any evidence. Finally, one of my friends, very close, lived with me, saw him cheating on her, literally witnessed with her own 2 eyes. And so I'm like, perfect, you're gonna tell her, right? Because we're both friends with her. And she goes, no. I'm like, why the fuck not? And she's like, well, because I'm friends with him too. First of all, who the fuck cares? Second of all, you should tell her. And she's like, no, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. I'm like, well, can I tell her then? And she's like, sure. So I end up telling her. I call her into my room. I'm like, hey girl, I have from a very credible source, mind you, the source is sitting next to me, that your man was making out with a girl last night and she watched him make out with her for like 5 minutes in the front lawn. And then actually he ended up bringing her home to his dorm room. She might be in there right fucking now. And she's like, oh my God, who told you? And I'm like, actually, unfortunately, I can't tell you. They asked not to be named. And mind you, the source is sitting next to me, right? And she's like, well, it would really make a difference if I could just talk to that person. I'm like, well, that person doesn't want you to know who they are. So unfortunately, I can't tell you. Fucking crickets from this stupid bitch, right? And so she ends up running over to his dorm room to see if the bitch is still there. The bitch has left. She found evidence of the girl being there, okay? But he somehow manipulates her, tells her this crazy ass story, tells her that I'm a fucking liar and that I'm making all this shit up. And why would she believe me saying some random person saw it and not believe her actual boyfriend telling her? And I'm just like, I can only do so much. And so this like source is friends with this man, right? And so he's in our dorm room kicking his feet and like laughing and joking with her on the bed, and I'm fuming. I'm like, I don't even know how you can look at this man. He's literally such a fucking asshole. And he turns around and he looks at me and goes, so I heard that you told her that I cheated on her, and like smiles. And I'm like, yeah, I did. Why the fuck did you do that? And he was like, honestly, I don't really care. Like, I'm just trying to like have sex because she won't do it. I'm like, oh my God. And then I'm like, well, I'm going to keep fucking telling her. And he laughs and he goes, you really think she'll ever believe you? She will always believe me over you. And gives me like the most chilling, sinister, evil fucking smile I have ever fucking seen. Dead in his eyes. I swear to God. I was looking at that man and I'm like, I can't convince you to give a shit about being a good person. You're actually just fucking crazy. And it goes on like this for years. Literally years and years and years. He ends up like psychologically torturing her. He just treats her like shit. She's constantly nervous. She's always on edge. She's crying all the time. She's depressed. She wants to go home. It was like so fucked up to watch. And it pisses me off that like this source never told, because like you could have saved her. She is now married to this man. She is now married to this man and she will probably stay with him forever. And so if your friends are in a bad situation, make sure you check in on them. Make sure you're honest with them. Obviously, they will only leave when they're ready, but like try to be as accountable as you can. And girl, if you're watching this, you know who you are. I hope you're doing okay, and you can always call me.
Can we show them the older homestead?
Yeah, let's go. As you know?
No, it's not. No, it's not. Was that you?
Yeah, that's on either side.
It went to both.
Yeah.
Story time on how I had to evacuate from one of my overnight camps. Okay, so basically this was like peak COVID basically. So I think I was 9 or I was about to turn 10. So basically I was at an overnight camp, but it was like an outside like Girl Scout camp. So we were able to be there and like we didn't have to wear masks and stuff because all of like our where we like slept and stuff was like outside tents. And this one day I think we were like in the pool or something because I had like a little camp pool, and one of our counselors told us that someone at camp got COVID. So we didn't really think anything much of it because it was just like, you know, we didn't think we were like around them, and so we just couldn't hang out with the other like age groups like during lunch and stuff, and we had to like eat lunch in our like kind of like tent areas because it was like there was like different camps going on at the same time and they're all in the same like area, but there was different like areas of the park, if that makes sense. So I was with my friends Tegan, who I'm still like best friends with, and then our other friends at the time, Marin and Eloise, were with us. I think it was Eloise. Yes, I think it was, yes. Okay, so then I think it was like later that day, and I think another person like tested positive for COVID. So then at that point, the director of the camp made us all go to this one area and get every single person had to get COVID tested. And I was taking very serious precautions. Like, I'm so serious. Even though we were outside, I literally wouldn't go by my friends and like hang out with literally anyone from my camp, like even in my like tent group. And I know that's like, I don't know. I was just very scared that I was gonna get COVID because I like did not want to die. And also, since I was turning 10, like 2 weeks after that, I was going to New York for my birthday, and I really didn't want to have to miss New York. Okay, so we all get like tested, and it's like different groups at a time, obviously, because we're not supposed to interact with the other groups because of COVID being spread. But then it was like, I was in like 4th grade, and I think these were like, because the people that like ran the camp, since it was Girl Scouts, it was like teenagers and like people that were like 17 and 18. And so I think these were like the people that were like that age that were like training to like be like the actual counselors. And I just remember their group like walked past us, and I was literally like, no, like they all have COVID, like something in me. I was like, no, like I'm gonna get sick from them. So I remember I saw them coming, and I literally like bolted into the floor. That's so embarrassing, but I literally was like hiding behind a bush, and I'm not even overreacting. It was so bad, and but I was right, and all of them actually tested positive for COVID, which then leads me to my next thing, which is none of us, like in my camp group, got COVID, which I'm so surprised because the person that they think like started the outburst was one of our counselors. Like, literally like was with us like every single day. So I don't know how we didn't get COVID, but everyone else did. So I'm just like, okay, so then it's later, I think that same night, and you know, everyone's just chilling. It was me and my 3 other friends just in our tent, kind of hanging out because there was nothing else to do. We were literally just stuck there, and it's like pretty dark. I'd say maybe, because we had to go to bed around like 10:30, so it was maybe like 10ish, so like pretty late. And it was dark. Okay, and then basically sorry, my counselor that like wasn't sick, because we had like 2, she came in and she was like, the COVID like has spread like through the whole camp. People are like going down like super sick and stuff, so you need to pack up right now. Your parents are coming to get you. Mind you, it's like 10 o'clock and we are like 9, so we start freaking out. I remember I literally start crying, bawling my eyes out, and we had like so much stuff because we had like snack boxes like down at the eating area. Like we had all our stuff, like we decorated our like tent and everything, so we had to like pack up. And I remember I was literally crying. I was freaking out, and I don't even know why. I think I was just scared because I thought I was literally gonna die, because this was before like any of it was like kind of heading to be resolved. This was like prime COVID. Okay, so we are literally all packed up. I'm still like crying, and everyone in our camp is like not okay, and some people's parents start coming to pick them up. I'm done messing with my hair and I'm just gonna finish the story. Okay, so basically It's probably now like 11. Like, it's late in the night because it took us a while to finish packing up, and obviously, like, we're trying to wait for our parents, and all of our, like, stuff to sleep is packed up, so it's literally just, and if you've gone in, like, one of those Girl Scout tents before, you know it's just, like, a ratchet-ass mattress against, like, a wooden bed. So there's literally nothing to, like, sleep on if we did have to stay there. And so it gets later in the night, and our parents just don't come. And so our counselor, who was staying there to make sure everyone, like, got out, was like, okay, you guys just have to sleep here, wait for them to pick you up in the morning. And it was just so bad because I literally had to sleep on top of the bare mattress. No blankets, no nothing, and I was so scared. Also, I was like, where's my mom? Like, everyone else already got picked up except me, the people in my tent, and a few other people. So basically, we're trying to fall asleep, and it was summer, but, like, for some reason, it was so cold, probably because it was just, like, nighttime. And I remember I was just freaking out, and it was on the next morning, and it took our parents, like, literally so long to get there. So we were literally sitting there in our cabin. We had nothing to do except wait there. And since it was the next, like, day, and it was summer, it was so hot. So then they finally picked us up, and we were, like, going home, and it was literally so bad. Then my mom told me, like, she called and said that they weren't gonna pick us up till the next morning, but then we never got the message, so we literally were, like, up all night waiting for our parents, and it was so bad because I was so scared, but it was okay. And I didn't end up getting COVID, and I actually got to go to New York, so it was fine. But yeah, that's the end of my story. I have a lot of other, like, camp-related stories, so if you want to hear those, just let me know.
I hid a camera in my son's car, and what I saw horrified me. Last month, my son, 17, got in a mild car accident. I was immensely disappointed in him, and I made that very clear. As punishment, I decided to put him in lockdown. The set rule was that he couldn't leave the house unless given permission, and he wasn't allowed out of my sight. Anyway, while my son was asleep, I decided to install a camera in his car. One of those cool shiny ones that aren't noticeable unless you search for them. I planted it in an air vent at the top, leaving the vent cracked open. My son isn't the brightest, so he would never think to search his car. He would never suspect a camera. After watching his actions over the week, I determined he had gotten his act together and could leave the house again. 3 weeks had passed and there was no suspicious activity on the car cam, so I decided it would be okay to let him drive. I regretted that decision almost instantly. He bolted out of the house and hopped in the car to head to his girlfriend's house without even letting me know. I'm quite annoyed that he didn't ask for permission, but I'll let it slide this time since it's her birthday and all. I started to watch the car cam intensely. He had gotten to her house a few minutes ago and he left her birthday present in the car. I knew he would head back to the car with her and I felt sick to my stomach thinking about what they might do. The door unlocked and he stepped into the back seat with his girlfriend behind him. "Happy birthday, babe," he spoke. "I know this is a big year for you, so I got you something extra special." He gave her a kiss and handed her the box. She shook it innocently and snickered. "I wonder what's inside." She ripped off the wrapping paper only to be met with a blindfold. A blindfold? What the heck was that for? "Babe, let me put it on you. I'm gonna take you somewhere special. It's gonna be a huge surprise." He crawled to the front of the car and started driving. I recognized the path he was taking, back home. I hadn't gotten his girlfriend anything for her birthday and he knew that. Why was he bringing her here? The car crept up the driveway. "Okay, babe, are you ready?" He put it in park and hopped out, headed straight to the passenger side. He slid the blindfold off his girlfriend, who wore a sickening grin on her face. "Take my hand, let's end her together." They locked eye contact and his girlfriend slid a out of her pocket. My heart suddenly dropped to my gut. Thump, 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 sharp knocking. "Mama, I'm home and I brought Brookie with me." Follow for more stories.
My neighbors are really starting to creep me out and I can't take it anymore. I wasn't going to say anything, but let me just set the scene for you. Okay, so I moved into this place literally years ago. I was the first one on the block, right? So then all of a sudden they start building these townhomes literally directly behind me. I'm really frustrated about this, by the way, because my landlord never mentioned that there was going to be anyone behind me, and I will get to that later. Let's get into the good stuff. The freaking neighbors. What's going on? This all started last October. My birthday's October 4th, so it was a few days before that because my mom and sister came over to take some pictures for my birthday. As we're standing in the backyard taking a couple pictures, I'm holding a cake. I'm holding a cake that says 29. You can tell it's my birthday. And I was taking pictures with my mom. My sister was taking them. All of a sudden, I see one of my neighbors pop out. And she doesn't just like come outside and naturally is doing whatever she's doing. She comes outside and she's just staring. She's just staring at us like couldn't care less. This isn't an older lady, by the way. They're all about my age. So really freaking weird. And they all have kids. I'm getting there, but it's not just one neighbor. It's three. It's 3. I digress. So, going back. Oh my gosh, as I'm saying this, one just came outside. You're joking. I'm telling you guys, I'm 1 minute into this video. I'm not kidding when I tell you, I cannot go to any of my windows, be anywhere near a window where like a neighbor back there might be able to see me without them coming outside and just staring at me. Girl, what? What do you want? Like, she's just staring. I'm on the 2nd level right now. I'm in my bedroom filming, and I know she can hear me too, because I can hear every little thing that goes on outside. Sorry, I'm so flustered. I feel like that this video is really just gonna be a jumbled mess, and watch. Her little thing 1 and thing 2 are gonna come out next. So anyway, that birthday one was really creepy because, so basically the girl that's staring at me right now is in house number 1, then there's house number 2, and house number 3. As far as I've seen, none of these girls know each other. I've never seen them interact. I've never seen these people talk to each other. Nothing. The only one I've seen is that the one in the middle talks to the one that's directly next to me. Like, she's not in the back. She's lived here since I lived here. So I don't know how those two know each other. I feel freaking awkward and my anxiety's through the roof because this girl can literally hear everything I'm saying, which is what she wants, I'm sure. So since that first time in October on my birthday, I'm not kidding, every single time I've been outside, I've been near a window, I've been in my kitchen, wherever they can see me in the house, they immediately come out. And this is the weird thing. Their blinds will all be closed, their curtains will be closed, and somehow they still freaking know as soon as I'm near a window or I'm outside. So here's the kicker. The one in the middle is the one that really irks me. She is the one that first did it, and she is the one who will just stand and stare. I start staring back, and she doesn't break. She doesn't stop. She just keeps staring at me. I literally feel like I can't live in my own house. Like, it's actually starting to irritate me because I was the first freaking person to live here, and then they all come in. Like, this building wasn't even here. It wasn't even here, and I'm so frustrated because, like, I've loved living in this place, but I actually feel like this is a deal breaker, and I'm gonna have to move when my lease is up. Okay, I'm sorry to do this, but go to part 2.
What the fuck was that? Bro!
What's going on around you?
I don't know. I'm frozen. I am frozen.
Did the window
Sean.
break?
Bestie, it's story time, so you might want to go get your snacks. I already told y'all this morning the story was coming, so you should be prepared. And we're also going to do a review from my plug, because my plug came through yet again. So, trigger warning about this story, because it's kind of disturbing. This story is from a country where child marriages are legal, or it's a thing. So boom, there's this little girl, let's call her Susan. So Susan is about 11 years old, so it's safe to say that she's a child. Susan didn't really grow up with too much. Her family was pretty poor. They struggled to eat damn near every day. In the country that they live, a job is not really something that they find. Well, you can find a job, but it's just super duper hard. Like, it's really hard. Her mom is a stay-at-home mom, obviously. Her dad wants to work, but he can't really find a job. So her mom has this little snack business where they make like a snack in their country and they sell it. So like a street food seller. And her dad owns a motorcycle, so he kind of like charges for motorcycle rides, and that's how they get through. Although it's not enough, but that's the most that they could do. Which in terms forces Susan to work at other people's houses in order to also bring some kind of income. So she's basically like a maid or something, right? So one of the houses that she works for, the family is pretty rich. And one day, while she was there working, the family had a visitor, and the visitor came. And she does her job as a maid. She cooks, she cleans, she serves the visitor. And this visitor is a 45-year-old man. And as she's working, this 45-year-old man took a very great liking to Susan. And he was staying over there for about a week or so. So Susan had to literally like serve him every day. And every day that she served him, it seems like he's getting touchier and more lovey-dovey. And again, this is kind of normalized in their country, but again, Susan is a child, so of course she feels uncomfortable because it's not normal, you know? Boom, by like the 4th day that he's there visiting, he makes it very clear to the family and to Susan that he wants to marry Susan because she does such a great job. She would be an amazing mother one day. I know. Sick. And Susan tries her best to be respectful because in that country too, women don't really have many rights. So any little thing that she does that may come across as disrespectful, she can get in big trouble for it. Or her family is going to pay for it. And her family already don't have enough to go by. So she really doesn't want to, upset anybody. Now, before I go on with the story, let me show you what I got from my plug. Look at these cute Celine earrings, y'all. Yup. Again, my plug is always going to come through. She be taking my money and I don't even care anymore. So I'm going to put her information somewhere in this video though. Anyway, so by the 4th day, he's pretty clear on he wants to marry her. Susan is trying to kind of tell him no without telling him no because in that country, you don't have the privilege of saying no as a woman. So at that point, she's just praying and hoping that the day that he leaves comes even faster because once he leaves, she don't gotta marry this man. So by the 5th day, he tells her that he wants to meet her parents because he's willing to pay, for the marriage in order to be able to marry her. And again, she wants to say no so bad, but she can't. And the family that she works for also knows her parents, so they set it up. So boom, this 45-year-old man goes to this little girl's house to speak to her parents, to tell her parents how, he wants to marry her. He wants her to be his wife. They spoke, they had dinner and stuff like that, and then he leaves, right? And after he left, they came to Susan to ask Susan, do you want to marry this man? So Susan made it very clear that she doesn't want to marry this man. She's 11 years old. She don't want to marry anybody. However, the amount of money that he's offering could save this family. So they're not really happy about the fact that she says she doesn't want to marry him. What do you mean? This man is offering this much money for you? You're going to marry him. And it's messed up, I know, but it's the reality of it. So this turns into this big argument to where they're screaming at Susan what do you mean? You can save this family. We don't have to work as hard anymore. Da, 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 da. Susan is if y'all make me marry this man, I'm going to run away. I don't care. I'm going to run away. But they don't care because guess what? The dad ends up calling the man behind Susan's back and saying, yes, Susan will marry him. So when she went to work the next day, the guy was there and the guy was like, oh my God, there's my bride. And Susan is like, what do you mean? And the guy told Susan that her dad called and said, basically gave the okay and they will be getting married. So Susan is devastated because she's seen some of her friends, what happens to them in these marriages. They get abused. It's just bad and she's terrified. So when she goes home, she was being serious about running away. She starts to pack her stuff to run away. And one of her siblings sees her doing that, goes to her dad and tells her that Susan is actually about to run away. So dad comes back. He comes back and he beats Susan because she was going to try to run away. And then after he did that, he looks at her and says, it's okay because I got something for you. The dad then proceeded to go to a voodoo priest to do a love spell on Susan so that she can willingly marry this man without all this fight. He goes there, the voodoo priest did what he had to do, told him what he had to do, and he did it, and it worked. It worked. The way that he did it was through food. The food that, they gave Susan made her all of a sudden be in love with this man. The thing about love spells is that it's against their will. Although it seems like she was in love with this man, she wasn't because it wasn't her. But she couldn't control it either. She's willingly doing things for him and she's willingly preparing for the wedding day and stuff like that. The whole family's happy. The whole family is happy because Susan all of a sudden loves this man. And they're about to be rich because they're about to have all this money. And long story short, Susan does end up marrying that man. And once the love spell thing wore off, she hated her life. She hated her marriage. She hated everything about what she was going through. And about a year later, so a year later, she would be 12 years old. About a year later, she ended up being pregnant. And when she found out she was pregnant, unfortunately, she unalived herself. Unfortunately, this story does not have a happy ending. But it just goes to show how much some of us really are privileged because this is real life. People really go through this kind of stuff. And it also makes my heart break because I don't know if y'all know Dora. She recently passed away and she was She was this great woman that adopted over 500 kids, saved them from child marriages and abusive households. And a lot of people weren't happy about that. A lot of men weren't happy about that. Me personally, I feel like her death was definitely, I don't want to speak on things that I don't know, but I do feel like she didn't willingly go. And I feel as though it needs to be investigated. When I saw that she passed away, y'all, I was so heartbroken because she was literally saving people like Susan. Kids like Susan. She provided them with school, food, a living, health insurance, you know? But hey, don't forget to tell me what you ate as a snack. I'm sorry that this wasn't a happy story. I am still doing a $100 giveaway. Scroll a couple videos down to find out how you can enter and how you can win $100. I'm announcing the winner January 16th. And I'm also helping out one business per month with free promo. So if you want if you have a business or you know somebody that has a small business and you want to help them, go to my bio. There's a link to, apply for it. And I hope that we can all come together and help each other out because that's what we have to do nowadays. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is part of the entry to the giveaway. So, yeah.